Yo, 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 welcome back. Welcome back. Man, yeah. I originally, did I say that right? Originally planned on doing this segment sometime last week, probably like Thursday or Friday. But like I said, I got so sidetracked, distracted with this upcoming project for the 1 year anniversary and shit. So I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So here we are. So about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks, Biden, as in former Vice President Joe Biden, decided that he wanted to unveil his plan for Black America. And it's called the Lift Every Voice Plan. So, yeah, I know. But, anyways, to be honest with y'all, it's not actually half bad. In actuality, it's actually pretty good. There's a lot of things that this addresses, at least a lot of things that I truthfully care about. But before I get into it, so I was looking for these articles on what everybody else was thinking, other news outlets and stuff. I came across a good one by The Hill, and then I read one by Fox News. And before you say anything, nah, Fox News didn't mess up the article. It wasn't slanted, didn't call it black socialism, it didn't do all that kind of bullshit that you would expect. It was the comment section. And it was just a repeat after repeat after repeat of the same tropes. It's like, oh, here they are, pandering to the black vote. And it's just, I don't know, this gets me. Like for a couple of reasons. One, like it's it's politics. Like people have to vote. Therefore, you have to do things to get their interest in you so that they'll vote for you. So I don't understand how it's ever pandering. But my biggest problem is why is it every time that it's directed at black people is pandering? Like what the fuck? Like I just don't get that. Like when it's to the Christian right, it's never pandering. Wall Street never pandering. Silicon Valley never pandering. Fucking LGBTQ never pandering. Black folks always pandering to the black people. I don't get that. It's like you don't think we have the ability to think for ourselves just because somebody's offering something that might benefit us? Like, come on, this bullshit. Anyways, sorry, went off on a tangent there. So, originally I was gonna, go through the whole thing like blase, this, that. But y'all, this shit longer than a motherfucker. So I am not finna go through it like that. So I'm just gonna hit some highlights, some things that I thought were really dope. Talk about the things that I didn't really like, and then talk about my anticipation of how much I believe is going to happen versus how much I don't think is going to happen. So let's go ahead and get into it. First and foremost, prison reform and the way that they're speaking about reforming prison by reducing criminals, which will in turn reduce federal spending. Not only that, but taking that federal spending that you would have saved and then reinvesting it back into the communities. Like, I really, really like that one. That one's dope. It addresses marijuana legalization, which to a degree is going to put a big hindrance on the war on drugs, which would help on prison reform by getting a lot of people who have petty misdemeanor marijuana charges and stuff like that out of prison systems. And a lot of those, I wouldn't say a lot, but a majority of those are African Americans. So that is a very, very good thing. But not just prison reform, but also police reform. That was one that I was very, very impressed with because there's a portion that they want to have funds sent to the DOJ to have them investigate police misconduct instead of having police departments, investigate their own shit. And I was like, yo, that is forward progressive thinking. Which got me thinking, like, there's no way, ain't no way in hell Biden of sound mind and body created and crafted this. There's no way. He had to have had like Obama campaigners and stuff like that work on this dog. Cause there's no way. Cause it addresses so much. So another thing I thought was dope was how it wants to invest in historical black colleges. There's $70 billion that they're setting aside to invest in them, but $10 billion from that 70 will go to creating 200 different centers of African learning, African research, African history, like museums, like I said, research facilities, like just a whole bunch of places that can showcase Black and African American excellence, and I really, really appreciate that. Um, Also, allowing tuition free for families making under 125,000 to go to public schools and to go to HBCUs. I thought that was dope. It briefly addresses student loan forgiveness and taking away student loans. It does actually speak about the disparity, how on average there's about $16,000 worth of student loans for the average borrower, but when it comes to African Americans, it's probably about 24,000. Like we continue to get screwed. So it spoke about that. Spoke about voter suppression, making every vote count. Gerrymandering, I believe, was in there. Don't quote me on that one, but I think it was trying to address certain things that kind of contribute to that. Um, there is infrastructure. They want to designate, I believe it was $1.4 trillion to infrastructure into those cities and communities. I thought that was dope. Then let me see what else we got. Oh, yes, definitely. Economic mobility. Don't even know why that one slipped my mind. But so they want to address the disparities when it comes to African American business owners applying for loans and applying for grants, trying to get capital, trying to get credit, because traditionally they have not been able to get their fair share. Let's just put it like that. Shit, it's been pretty bad when it comes to trying to attempt to get loans and stuff like that. And it also addressed the COVID-19 PPP if they were to have further future payments. How I really like this part. How it didn't have a stipulation really for what small businesses were to a degree. So a lot of the actual small businesses got left out. So what they want to do is basically split the PPP as in a 50% will go to small businesses that are designated to be 50 employees or less, and then 50% would go to big business chains and others to kind of divvy up between them. And I was like, yeah, yeah, that's dope. That's smart. That makes a lot of sense because now you're actually addressing the small businesses that need the help with their stability and stuff like that. It addressed home ownership, which is great because after the 2008 crisis, there was a lot of issues with housing in the African American community because Wells Fargo and other institutions took it upon themselves to fuck their rates up, to just prey upon them, to do predatory practices. It's yeah. So a lot of things were addressed in here, and I was very very impressed. I'm not gonna lie. Look, we don't we don't sit here in front of this camera to be like, I'm a left wing guy, I'm a leftist, I'm a liberal. No, okay. A lot of my beliefs lean to the left, but I have no agenda. I am not up here pushing shit. Y'all know I don't like Biden, but I'm here to be objective, and I believe that this is a very, 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 very strong proposal, especially in attempting to engage African American voters. So I'm just going to be honest with you. All right. This does not mean I'm voting for him. This does not mean that he's swaying me, but this definitely means that it feels good to be thought of as a voter. A few things that I didn't really care too much for. So it addresses healthcare, but it has him trying to do it in a way that it just adds on to Obamacare, and I'm just like, nah, bro, we gotta scrap that shit. Okay, we just need to do Medicare for all. You know it, I know it, they know it, she know it, he know it. So let's just do it for show though. Like I don't really understand what the holdup is. So I've been thinking, I'm like, all right, why is it that Biden is so beholden to the idea of continuing Obamacare? And it just has to be this this idea or this ideal that he has that he's going to be the one to continue Obama's legacy and carry on the certain things that he was trying to do. And since he was part of that legacy, it only feels right that he has to hold on to it as tight as he can because it's not a good idea to continue with the public option or to expand Obamacare. It is best to do Medicare for all, but whatever. So I didn't like that. I didn't like that it addressed churches in here. No, I ain't talking about the chicken place. Now, it addressed churches, and like I said yesterday, I don't care for giving churches federal funding. You can't convince me in any reason unless you're going to start taxing them for why they should be receiving federal money. I can't get with it. There should be that separation of that church and that state. They should be able to bail themselves out. I understand that they have not been able to be in church fast Sundays and stuff like that. So therefore, a lot of their money isn't able to circulate in the ways that it normally would. I'm sorry. A lot of other people are out of work too. I mean, why don't you ask your big CEO if he can hit y'all with a pay loan? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not fair to, but whatever. I get it. I get it. I understand that I am in the minority of the minority when it comes to how they feel about churches, houses of worship, and stuff like that. So I understand why it would be addressed in here because that's a pivotal part of the black experience. So I get that, but I just really wasn't for it. And I really wish that they would have attacked the student loan stuff a little bit more. But whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. Like I said, this was a really, really good proposal. Now, on the anticipation of how much I think of this will actually transpire versus how much I don't think, and I'm just gonna have to lean 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way any of this is gonna happen. The only thing that I might see happen would be maybe the legalization of marijuana, but nothing else that directly relates to advancing African American economic mobility or helping with the healthcare crisis or anything like that. I don't see none of that shit actually happening, especially if he actually ends up in office. But regardless, I definitely don't see this ever being anything on Trump's proposal. So I don't see any of this happening at all. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't well thought out, wasn't a really, really good proposal. And stop saying it's pandering. Like, that's just so stupid. Like, y'all realize, like, African Americans are what, like $1.4 trillion worth every year. Like that's like our spending power. Like it behoove you to look into looking at getting those kind of votes. But yeah, whatever, just pander. I don't get it, but whatever. So, like I said, man, we're not here to push anything. We're here to just try to find the most objective way to bring these stories to you. So, with that in mind, I hope that this kind of lets you know, like, hey, there are some politicians who are speaking about black people. There are some politicians who are thinking about actual progressive, forward moving, proposals and ideas. And to be honest with you, I don't think it's Joe Biden. I do not honestly believe that he is coming up with these things, but I think it was really dope that this shit right here was that well thought out, and I think it was amazing that it touched on a lot of things that people really, really don't talk about, from the prison reform to the policing reform. Those are two things that we speak about here a lot, but a lot of people really, really kind of shy away from. So I'm glad that that was addressed. You can find this on Joe Biden's site. Just hit the skip at the top. Do not donate to his punk ass. I'm just playing. Yeah. Do whatever you want with your money. It is what it is. But anyways, man, I'm finna get up out of here. I'll let you.